Friends, this story is based on a man who has a strange magical power in which whenever he wears a man's shoes, he becomes exactly like him. So at the beginning of the story, we see a cobbler Max who he was fixing the shoes in his shop. After the work was done, when he was standing outside his shop, Jimmy, the owner of the neighboring barbershop, comes to him and tells him that, brother, you are too old if you do not marry, then your weapon will stop working. Then Max tells him that I am a big fan of Salmon Bai. Further, Max remains busy in his work the whole day. During this time, a black man comes to him to get his shoes polished. While working, Max's eyes fall on Kalia's watch, which was very expensive. On this, Kalia tells him, what are you looking at now? Even if you sell your entire family, you will not be able to buy this watch. Then there. Before leaving, Kalia gives him a pair of shoes to fix, which she was to wear to a party in the evening. Further, Max was fixing Kalia's shoes when suddenly his machine breaks down. Now Max has to hurry up. He calls the mechanic, but the mechanic tells him that it will take at least a week to fix it. Now it was a problem for Max, because he had to deliver the black shoes by evening by any means. But then he remembered there's an old machine lying in his basement which was once used by his father. Now Max uses that machine to repair Callie's shoes and waits for his arrival for a long time in the evening, but wait does not come. So seeing the number of those shoes, he starts wearing them, but then he sees in the mirror that by wearing those shoes he himself has become Kalia. Now seeing this, he gets scared and quickly takes off those shoes. After some time, he tries wearing those shoes again, and now he could not believe at all what was happening to him. Next, he looks at some more shoes of the same number, but when he wears them, nothing happens to him. Now seeing this, he starts thinking that why my appearance did not change by wearing these shoes. Then, after applying his mind a little, he remembers that he had repaired Kalia's shoes with that old machine. Perhaps that machine itself has some magical power. Later, he starts repairing some other shoes with the same machine, after which when he tries them on, he becomes exactly like the owner of those shoes. Now in the same way, he repairs many old shoes and wears them. Now Max was having a lot of fun doing all this, but in the meantime, he wears the shoes of a dead man, seeing which he gets teary. Next, he picks up a girl's shoes and fixes them. When he wears it, he starts looking exactly like the one who is a transgender. Then after some time, he takes the form of an old man and goes to Jimmy Uncle to see if he can recognize him or not, but Jimmy Uncle unable to recognize him. Max takes the form of someone else and goes to an expensive restaurant and eats very expensive things there, but when it comes to paying the bill, he secretly goes to a bathroom and comes back. He comes in his own form and leaves from there. Further, while he was wandering on the road, his eyes read on the car of a rich man, which he likes very much. Now, in the form of Max Cayley, he goes to that man Ami and asks, what is the number of your shoes? The rich man says 1030. Max says, very good. Now quickly take off your shoes and give them to me, otherwise I will insert my weapon inside you. Now on hearing this, the man quickly, he takes off his shoes and gives them to her. Further, Max takes the form of the same man, after which he goes on a long drive with her car. Now Max was having a lot of fun doing this, because before this he always used to travel on foot. Next, he comes to his house, where we see his mother, who is always in bad health. Then Max asks his mother that if you had the chance to be someone else, what would you be? She says, I would be you. I am very happy to be a mother, but it would have been great if I could have had dinner with your father for the last time. Now it was a little difficult for Max to do this, because his father had died. Then the next day, when Max was at his shop, a beautiful girl comes to get her boyfriend's shoes repaired. Max says, Madam, don't worry, I will make it like new. After repairing those shoes, Max takes the form of that girl's boyfriend and goes to that girl's house. When he reaches there, the girl was taking bath in the bathroom. Then Max also enters the bathroom with her, after which both of them do forced labor there. After coming back to his shop, he repairs his father's old shoes, and then by wearing them, he becomes like his father, whom he loved very much. Further, he reaches home in the same form as his father, where his mother is shocked to see her husband alive. Then they both have dinner together and have a great time. They talk about everything, after which Max puts his mother to sleep and puts his father's shoes back. Then the next morning, when he goes to wake his mother up, he sees that his mother was dead. Seeing this, Max becomes very sad, because the only one who loved him in this world was his mother. Further, at her funeral, we see that Max did not even have enough money to get a stone with his name on his mother's grave. From here, the scene shifts forward a few days. Here we see Callie, who comes to Max and tells him that I have been circling your shop for the last 1 week. Where did you go after closing the shop? Max says that my mother. Kalia says, stop all this nonsense and return my shoes. Max says, okay, give me back the slip which I had given you in exchange for your shoes. Kalia says, which slip? I don't have any slip. Max says that if there is no slip, then I will get the shoes. Now Kalia gets very angry after hearing this, and he tells her that if I don't get my shoes till tomorrow, then I will give you the slip. Now Max also gets angry after hearing these words of Kalia, after which he takes the form of another man and starts chasing Callie. Meanwhile, he used to change his form again and again so that Kalia would doubt him. On chasing him further, Max learns that Kalia is a goon who extorts money from people. After some time, when Kalia leaves from there for some work, Max takes his form and enters his flat. There he meets his girlfriend, who is very angry at him because he did not take her even once for the last 1 week, and that is why she gets angry and leaves from there. Max starts searching his house, during which he finds her. A box of guns is found. There was an electrocution machine inside it, through which Max electrocutes himself and becomes unconscious there. Then, after some time, when he regains consciousness, he wears black shoes and goes out of there. It seems so, but as soon as he opens the door, he sees that the real Kalia appears in front of him. Seeing his impersonator, he pounces on him and starts beating him like a dog. Then, Max makes him unconscious by shocking him with that electric machine and ties him with ropes. After some time, when Callie regains consciousness, he sees that a child is sitting in front of him. He tells him, "Look, Callie, I will not do anything to you. Just tell me about your precious watches, Callie." He says that once I get free from here, I will put you back inside your father. Then, after some time, a transgender comes there and starts asking Kalia about those watches. He says that if you did not tell me where are those watches, then I will put my weapon in your mouth. Now, Kalia did not want to take someone else's weapon in his mouth, so he tells him about those watches. Now, Max is leaving from there with those watches. But then he sees that there were some other black people standing at the door. Max asks Kalia, "Who are these people?" To which Kalia says that these are my boys, and on one gesture from me, they can tear apart anyone. Muxeshks, what have they come here to do? Kalia says that we have got a contract worth $lakhs to pick up someone, and to take his advance payment, I have to go somewhere with them. Now, after hearing this, Max's eyes widen, after which he shocks Kali and makes him unconscious, and along with his boys, he sets out to collect the advance payment. Next, they all go to the house of the richest person in the city, where they meet Miss Galebo, who gives them the advance payment. She formally gives $50,000 and says that you will get the rest of the money after the work is over. Then Max comes back and goes to take the watches from Kaylee, but by then Kaylee had freed himself, after which he pounces on him and kills him. He starts trying to kill her. Meanwhile, Max's shoe gets removed from his foot and he comes back to his original form. Now seeing this, Kalia's heart bursts once again, but he again tries to kill her. But then Max hits Kaylee's neck with the heel of his shoe, due to which Kaylee's work ends there. Now seeing Kaylee dead, Max bursts into rage and becomes 64, after which he runs away, leaving the money and watches there. Further, after coming home, we see that Max has started realizing his mistake, so he goes to the police station to confess his crime and tells them everything. Further, when the police come to Kalia's house with Max, so they see that nothing happens there. Neither was Callie's dead body there, nor were there those watches and the bag of money. Now seeing all this, Max is surprised as to what is happening. Now those policemen feel that they thought that Max is driving them crazy, so they call him a fool and go away from there. Later, when Max reaches his shop, he finds the same bag of money and watches with which the heels were also lying. Now Max is surprised to see this. It happens that who would have kept it here? And then when he was leaving from there with that bag, then Uncle Jimmy comes to him and asks him, "What are you doing all this since your mother is dead? So you come to the shop on time, and even if you come, you do not stay at the shop for much time." Max says that right now, "I'm going out for some work. I will come back and talk to you about this." Further, he will take that money to Miss Galebo. Miss Galebo says that she does not want this money, but my work, after which she calls her men and gets her kidnapped. Those kidnappers were taking him somewhere. Then he takes off his shoes and wears the shoes of a dead old man, seeing which the two kidnappers get angry and they crash the car. After this, Max comes out of the car and goes there. Then the next day, when he was sitting at his shop drinking a cold drink, he dropped it on a pamphlet which was given to him a few days ago by a girl Money who wanted to save some old man. Now seeing this, Max remembers that this old man is the same man who Miss Gulabu wants to kill. After this, Max meets Money and tells her everything. Further, both of them go to the old man's house to alert him, but their words go to Money. Hearing this, the old man says that whoever wants to kill me can do so, but I will never vacate this house because I have grown up in this house since childhood. Now after hearing this, an idea comes to Max's mind, and the old man asks, "What number is your shoe?" The old man says 1030. Then the next day, Max takes the form of the old man and meets Miss Galab and tells her that I will vacate this house, but I will get $1 in return. Now Miss Galebo agrees to his request, and then the next day $1 is delivered to the old man. Further, with that money, the old man goes to another city to meet his daughter, whereas when Miss Galebo goes to check the old man's house. Then she sees that the old man was sitting there, who was none other than Max. Miss Gulabu tells him that you have got your money. Now get out of here quietly. The old man says, which money? I don't want any money. Didn't meet, and I will never vacate this house. Now Miss Galabo gets angry after hearing this, and she tells her that if you don't vacate this house, then I will kill you and your daughter. But then a reporter comes there. Seeing this, Miss Galabo gets scared, and then the old man starts making obscene gestures at her, seeing which Miss Galabo gets even more angry. And this thing comes in the news the next day, with which Miss Galabo is arrested for the crime of kidnapping and giving betel nut. Further, when Max was at his shop, Money comes to meet him, who thanks him for his help and says that you should come with me for dinner tonight. Now that Max also liked her, so she agrees. He agrees, but before going to dinner, he goes to his girlfriend in the form of Kalia and gives her his expensive watches as a gift, and he also apologizes to her for his behavior. Then when he leaves from there, when he comes out, someone mistakes him for the real Kalia and kidnaps him. Further, while they were taking him away from there, his car meets with an accident. Further, when Max opens his eyes, he is at Uncle Jimmy's shop. Uncle Jimmy, he's told to take this pickle and eat it. Max says that I don't want to eat. Uncle Jimmy says that as you are constantly changing from one form to another, only this cucumber pickle can help you. Max asks that you know all this. How do you know? Uncle Jimmy says, what do you think? I am just a barber. After which, as soon as he takes off his shoes, seeing this, Max bursts into tears because in front of him was his father, who is still alive. Only then he realizes. It turns out that it was his father who had disappeared Kalia's body from there and had brought the bag of money and watches to his shop. Now Max is very happy to see his father, but at the same time, he was also angry with him. Asks that you did not remember me and my mother at all. Father says that you were always with me, but after the things I have done, I could not have come in front of your mother. Max asks, okay, tell me, where did that magical machine come to us from? The father says that this machine was given to your great-grandfather by an angel whom he once helped during a winter. Next, he shows his son his family's collection of shoes, which is not a common shoe. There were no shoes, but there were the shoes of all the celebrities and millionaires from his great-grandfather till today. Next, he brings Max to his basement where a very expensive car was parked with a professional driver. Then he tells his father, let's go home, after which both of them sit in the car and leave for their home and friends. With this, the story ends here.